Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Dior, and this is Arkham Horror, the card game, doing the Scarlet Keys. We're in Anchorage, and we're going to be looking up 33K here. All right, intro. You have only just checked into your lodge in Anchorage when you receive an unmarked package. Agents, we have lost contact with several operatives in Central Alaska in recent weeks, likely due to coterie activity. One operative was looking into a possible lead. A lens with apparent paradimensional capabilities. Enclosed is the journal of Prospector Rhett Landry. It's currently institutionalized at Morningside Sanatorium in Oregon. If the lens is a key, acquire it at all cost. Q. Taylor. You spend a full day poring over the prospector's journal, which is mostly comprised of wildlife sketches and notes on mining. However, the final entry is chilling. October the 4th, 1923. Tonight I buried that accursed lens where I found it. I dared not commit my thoughts to page after finding it, but I have nothing to lose now. While surveying the new branch in the mine, I found a curious lens buried in the rock. It was opaque and emanating a beguiling light. Holding it made me feel special, as if I had been chosen. Looking through it, I saw incredible plants, creatures, people, structures, in a strange, otherworldly landscape, a world beyond our own. A world that should exist, a dark reflection of our own, a haven for lost objects, lost memories, the lens, the sable glass. It is the mirror that shows the truth of this other world. How foolish was I to think I could use the lens for my own gain. The more I looked at the other world, the more the other world looked back. By peering into the glass, it must have called something, some awful, nameless creature through. More and more of my fellow prospectors went missing in the woods and erased from memory. My companions, my possessions, my home, all were swallowed up by the strange creature I glimpsed in the sable glass. And now, when I look through it, I can see them there, in that other place. The creature that stalks the woods is made of nothing, and yet is many things, a constantly shifting, ever-changing. It has the traits of many animals, like a chimera from old myths. I tried to hunt it using the sable glass, but looking at it made my head spin. After surveying the area, I set a trap and thought I killed one of its forms, a great lupine thing that howled and dissipated into nothingness. But when I returned to camp the next day, it had struck the camp my companions have vanished from memory and space. The authorities say I should be locked up. My only hope is to set things right, to put the sable glass where I found it. Perhaps then everything will be right again. Next to the journal entry is an array of dark scratches, which you had assumed were nervous scribbles. However, giving Landry's account, you wonder if it isn't his attempt to sketch the creature. The next day, you launch a search for any record of Mr. Landry's gold mine, starting with prospecting permissions in Anchorage City Hall and the local library. After a day of fruitless research, you still cannot find an official permit or a record of a mine connecting to Rhett Landry. As you return to the lodge that evening, you spot a tall, willowy figure with a distinctive red cravat standing next to a packed sludge. Well met, the figure greets with a self-satisfied smile. You must be the troublemakers everyone is talking about. Pleased to make your acquaintance. I'm Thorn. They extend a confident hand to shake yours. If you're here, I can only assume it is for the same reason as I. Keep a weather eye out. It's supposed to be quite cold near Fairbanks. May the best one win. Thorn winks at you, then mounts the sled. You wonder if Thorn's reference to Fairbanks was clever misdirection or a friendly hint. After asking around the lodge, an attendant opens up where about your rival's preparations. I was confused at first until it became clear they were asking about something in tribal territory. You don't need a permit to prospect out there. After some questioning, you have a good sense of Thorn's direction and the location of the mine. Read only if the investigator has the Wayfarer trait. We do have a Wayfarer, which is Ursula. So we'll go ahead and read this. Wherever you're going, you want to follow the river. Gold mines are usually built within 100 yards of a river and are often connected to a river by a channel for fresh water and silt for panning. Neat information, but it's not actually helpful. It's just extra lore, unfortunately. Before you head out, you ask for directions from a local member of the tribe that owns the territory where you think the mine could be. They are wary of more meddling from outsiders and also concerned for your safety. Given the recent trouble with prospectors on their land, you explain you aren't interested in gold and are researching the strange case of Mr. Landry. For good measure, you show them the prospector's journal and the strange etching inside. This seems to buy you some trust, and the tribe members offer some directions. Be especially careful crossing the rivers this time of year, they tell you. It's easy to lose your way, and even easier to fall through the ice. You'll catch your death out there if you aren't careful. All right, setup. So we need to take the Alaskan wilderness locations and shuffle them together face down, and then put them adjacent to Fairbanks. So here are the Alaskan Wilderness locations. We'll put it up here and go shuffle. 1, 2. There we go. All right. Let's see. And then everything else gets set aside. Decoy cards, all that's good. So check how much time has passed. 6 time has passed so far. So for every 5 time that has passed, we add 1 doom to agenda 1. So we'll have 1 last round to do this. So yeah, in theory, if you were to come here at time 35 somehow, you would actually start with this agenda advancing on the very next turn. Since you do start on the investigation phase, you don't have to worry about it advancing immediately or anything like that. Also, you can the most doom you can have is 6, at least in this case. All right, and then we're just ready to begin. Let's go ahead and shuffle the deck. And then we'll take a look at this. There are 3 agendas, Lost and Forgotten. The Prospector's Journal described a horrifying predator. Some call the thing stalking the woods a beast, some call it a spirit, and others know it as a shapeshifter. Describing the thing seems to fill each witness with a primal, unspeakable terror. 7 doomed to advance. We start with 1 already. There are 4 acts. Quest for the Sable Glass. Thorn may have a head start in their search for the Sable Glass, but you have something they don't. Rhett Landry's journal. If you can reach the Prospector's gold mine before the coterie, you may be able to keep the key out of their hands. Only investigators at the condemned gold mine may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. 6 clues to advance. And then we have the tokens. So skulls are minus X, where X is the number of hazard treacheries in play, so right now it's 0. We do not have any cultists, though it is possible to come here with them. Cultists would have been minus 4. If you fail, you have to choose a non-weakness card in your hand and set it aside out of play as a hollow. Tablet is minus 2, but it becomes minus 5 if the Void Chimera is at your location. And then the Elder Thing, which we don't have any of, is minus 3. If you fail, look at the top card of your deck. If it is not a weakness, set it aside out of play as a hollow. So yeah, if you happen to focus on purely one thing or the other, either tablets or Elder Things, you'll definitely have certain aspects of the game become much harder and some parts be less problems. All right, with all that said and done, I'll go ahead and read about the location we start in, Anchorage. Anchorage bustles with excitement brought on by the gold rush. Almost every street you walk down has a new facade under construction. The sheer number of rugged pioneer folk walking the streets makes you feel out of place in your everyday clothes. All right, and as mentioned before, the Eye of Ravens is now in Jacqueline Fine's possession, so she will always start with it, and it always starts in the stable position on every new scenario. All right, so I was about to end the video for some reason. Anyway, let me put a break here, BRB. All right, so unfortunately I did make a mistake towards the end. I placed the Ursula's weakness down and completely forgot about it for multiple rounds, and so I forgot to resolve it, which would have changed a lot of things, and there's no real way for me to rewind at that point. I definitely got bogged down towards the end for a variety of reasons, but here goes nothing. So first things first, I'm going to redo these. There we go. We will start with 6 cards in our hand because of the Bermuda. All right. Whispers of Doom is good. Sword Cane, Rite of Seeking. Honestly, these are okay. Okay. Not terrible. Okay, that's 6 cards. We can do Crack the Case. Don't want any of those or those. I did get bogged down on purpose, though, because I actually spawned a bunch of things that had victory, and I was trying to kill them. But unfortunately, things did not go as planned. All right, so an okay start. We have the Grim Memoir. Oh, yeah, this is okay. We can work with this. Alright, so we're starting with 1 Doom. This goes here. Anchorage, 2 Shroud, 2 Clues. Action, choose a set-aside hollow. Its owner draws it, limit once per round. Action, resign. I thought Alaska was supposed to be a nice time this year. Or sorry, it was supposed to be nice this time of year. Alright, I'm going to start with Jacqueline. I'm going to go ahead and spend 4 to get out Rite of Seeking. Then I'm going to use Rite of Seeking. Go 5 to 2 here. I'll use my ability with it. Alright, I'll cancel the Skull and the Elder Sign. That'll put me at 3 to 2, so I do pass and get 2 clues. And I draw a card because I canceled an Elder Sign. Since all the clues have been gained from here, I'll go ahead and play this Crack the Case. And you know what? I'll go ahead and give those resources to Jacqueline. Okay, and then I will go ahead and have Jacqueline spend 3 to get out Breath of the Sleeper. Not a bad start. I also could have done Fearless, but I completely forgot. Alright. So, Ursula. Spend 1 to go ahead and get out Segment of Onyx. We'll go ahead and spend 3 to get out the Grim Memoir. And then we're going to move twice. We'll go here. Fairbanks. Fairbanks is the perfect place to replenish your supplies and research routes to the gold mine. 2 Shroud, 0 clues. Reaction, when an investigator at Fairbanks draws a hazard treachery, spend 2 resources to cancel that treacherous effects and discard it. All around me, I sensed a queer coldness in the demeanor of my neighbors, my friends. I'm going to go ahead and move for my last action. So yeah, I played Grim Memoir and I've moved twice. So this will be my last action. Alaskan Wilderness, the bleak splendors of these remote and lonely forests rather overwhelmed him with the sense of his own littleness. Alright, and we found the Isolated Road. 3 Shroud, 4 clues. The first hazard treachery revealed by an investigator at this location. Each round gains surge. The silence of the vast listening forest stole forward and enveloped them. Victory 1. Alright, I'll go ahead and use my ability since I moved and use Grim Memoir. Go 6 to 3. Alright, that is just enough to get a clue, but not enough to draw a card. Alright, that is everybody. Upkeep. There you go, Arcane Initiate. That thing's annoying. Well, I mean, I can do something with that at least, but that's super annoying. Alright, second Doom. We did start with 1 because of the time. Figures in the dark. It surges because there's no one in the shadows. Matter Inversion. There are no outsider enemies out in play, so it gets Surge. Paradigm Effacer. 3 fight, 3 health, 3 evade, Aloof Hunter. After you end your turn at Paradigm Effacer's location, look at the top card of the deck. If it is not a weakness, set it aside. Out of play as a hollow, then if you own 3 or more set aside hollows, it attacks you. Hits for 1 and 1. So this thing's just gonna be around. The good news is it only triggers at the end of your turn, so Hunter moving on top of you is not a big deal. But you will need to move eventually. Over here, this is an outsider enemy. So now it has, it loses Aloof, gains Retaliate, and gets +1 fight, +1 evade. Well, now we have this to deal with. Alright. So, attach enemy without a copy of Matter Inversion attached. If you cannot, got it. Yep. Attached enemy loses Aloof, gains Retaliate, gets +1 fight, +1 evade. So it's 4/4 now. Okay. That's a thing that happened. Alright. So if we evade him, we can actually discard this thing and get back a hollow, but right now we have no hollows. Good news is this is a power card, so we don't need to worry about the wilderness effect. Okay. So with that in mind, it goes to Ursula. I'll put Call the Unknown over here. I'm going to go ahead and investigate this location with Grim Memoir. 6 to 3. Alright, this time we pass by 2. We get a clue. Draw a card. And then I'm going to move twice to here. Alright, this is the Frozen Lake. After an investigator at this location reveals any of the bad symbols during a skill test they are performing, they must either choose and discard 1 card from their hand or take 1 horror. I'll go ahead and use my ability here and go Grim Memoir. So it will be 6 to 3. I'm not going to commit anything else. We pass, we draw a card. This is resolved. I get 1 clue here. And we're good for now. All right. Jacqueline. We need to do a thing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and attack with Breath of the Sleeper. I'm going to commit a Fearless. And I'm going to use 3 charges and my ability. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal 6 tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No duplicates. Thanks, game. Alright, obviously we'll cancel everything but the +1. So we'll do 1 damage and draw a token, draw a card because of the Elder Sign. So we do 1 damage. That is unfortunate. At this point I will attack again. I will spend 3 charges. Oh, also I heal a horror. So, revealing 4 tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I will take the zeros. I'll take a 0 and then I'll cancel a 0, so I'll do 3 damage and that'll kill this thing. Okay. And then last action, I'm going to go ahead and play a Arcane Initiate. I'll take the horror. And then search top 3 for a spell card. I'll take the Voice of Ra. Okay, that is everybody. So the good news is I know where the victory location's at, and I can, once I get Pinch of the Queen out, I can just get the clues off of it from a distance. And I know that the river we need to go to is at this last location. Upkeep. Uncaged Soul, nice. Deduction, nice. Mythos. 3rd Doom out of 7. So yeah, I'm already giving Thorn at least a chance this time. On both my personal playthrough and the scrapped run, I pretty much got there at the 2nd turn, essentially. I found the location. Cracking the Ice. Hazard. Put in Cracking the Ice into play next to the agenda deck. Then if there are 3 or more copies of Cracking the Ice next to the agenda deck, discard them all and each investigator at a wilderness location tests agility 4. Each investigator who fails must take 1 damage, take 1 horror, or lose 1 action for each point they fail by. So not much I can do about that. Yep, not. So just going to get put next to the agenda. Over here. Warped Reality. Attached to your location. After you end your turn at the attached location, choose a non-weakness card in your hand and set it aside out of play as a hollow. Double action, discard it. Okay. I don't plan on staying here, so that's fine. Alright, investigation phase. Okie dokie. So, alright, for Call of the Unknown, I'm going to put it over here. Because if I can get rid of the isolated road right now, that'll be nice. So, I will spend 3 to get out Pathfinder. I will then Pathfind move and regular move to here. I'll use my ability and do Grim Memoir and commit a deduction. 7 to 3. We pass. I'll draw a card. Get both clues here. Resolve this. Call of the Unknown. And then last action, I'm going to get off this location. Okay. As good as that can possibly go. All right, Jacqueline. Okay, for Jacqueline, let's go ahead and just move twice. We're going to go ahead and go down to the last location that we haven't messed around with yet. The mountain stream. 1 shroud, 2 clues. After you enter the mountain stream, test book or agility 1. If you fail, take 1 damage. I'll go ahead and do 3 to 1. Good to go. After the last clue is discovered from the mountain stream, put the 3 set-aside outer wilderness locations into play adjacent to it. Crossing the cracking ice is incredibly dangerous, but you have little other choice. Okay. So for my last action, I'm going to go ahead and investigate with Rite of Seeking. This puts us at 5 to 1. I'll go ahead and use my ability with it. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'll cancel the autofail and take the +1 and 0. I pass, I get both clues. And then we'll reveal the locations. So outer wilderness locations. There you go. And then that is going to be it for now, because I don't want to discard cards yet. Okay. Nothing going on in the enemy phase. Upkeep. Okay, that medical student's very good. Mythos, we're at 4 of 7. Seething Shadows. Okay. Seeing Shadows. Okay. That's actually not too bad. On my first playthrough, I drew like no monsters, like till the very end. So there wasn't really much to worry about as far as concealment was concerned. All right, investigation phase. I'm going to start with Jacqueline. Because I kind of, well, actually I can do, no, I need to start with Jacqueline first. Yeah, I'm going to need to. I'm going to go ahead and search top 3. I'll take the ward, I guess. Yeah, we have a lot of cards I don't exactly need right now. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move down to here. Okay, Hunter's Lodge. When you reveal Hunter's Lodge, test willpower or intelligence 3 to talk the hunter down. If you fail, take 1 damage. I'll go ahead and do willpower. I'll go 5 to 3. That is only -2, so I do pass. If a monster would enter this location, you'll deal 1 damage to it, and here you thought the outsiders were the dangerous ones. Victory 1. Okay. I will go ahead and I'll go ahead and do the investigate here. So I'll use the last charge of Rite of Seeking. I'll use my ability with it. I'll take the -1 and pass. Okay. And then I will might as well do it now. I'll go ahead and do Voice of Ra. I'll gain 1 resource and then just reveal 3 tokens. Okay, that is, I get 2 more resources. So it was emergency cash, which is fine. Okay. So, unfortunately for Ursula, I have to make a decision. One of these locations has clues, the other one does not. I'll pick this one. All right, let's go ahead and move down. I am going to go ahead. Well, actually, no, I don't need to do it there. I can just put it here. I want to put it, as long as it's a place that's not my starting location. So I'll put it on the mountain stream. So I'll move down. I'll do the forced effect first. So I'll go 4 to 1. Good to go. I'll use my ability and play Burning the Midnight Oil to get 2 resources and go 4 to 1. I successfully investigate, so that's resolved. Then I'll Pathfind move over to here. Okay, I'm going to shuffle these around real quick because I didn't know these were connected. Alright, Forgotten Outpost. 4 Shroud, 2 Clues, action, draw 3 cards, limit once per game. While hardly large enough to qualify as a town, this small settlement feels like a bastion of comfort after days on end of trying wilderness. Okay, so I Pathfinded there. As an action, I will go ahead and draw those 3 cards. It's just limit once per game, so each character could do it once. Okay, we got the working a hunch. I'm going to go ahead and investigate this location. We'll go Burning the Midnight Oil to get 2 resources. I'll spend 1 of it to do a Practice Makes Perfect. Search top 9. I'll pick Deduction. That puts me at 5 to 4. We'll go 8 to 4. Or sorry, 7 to 4. There's only 1 hazard out in play. So I pass. I will get both clues here. And I get to draw a card. 1 second. As always, I keep confirming that I did the thing here. So deduction goes into my hand because the practice makes perfect. The rest gets discarded. Okay. So we have more than enough clues to do what we need to do, which is perfect. And this mountain stream is definitely going to do its work here. Okay, that actually kind of puts us in pretty good shape. Okay, none of those. No enemies, upkeep. We will need to discard a card. We're going to discard the Deny Existence. And then over here, get a Eureka. Alright, 5th Doom out of 7. It surges, there are no one in... Actually, yeah, it surges, otherwise you must decide following. Each enemy in the shadows attacks you, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go ahead and... You know what? Yeah, I'll let it surge. Okay. Actually, it's probably a good idea to let him hit me. Alright, so this is the thing that hollows your top card and it engages you. Bye-bye that. And then we get Coterie Agent B. And he's going to get a Doom on him because of the other reasons. Good news is I do already know how this goes, so I can actually ignore this guy. So yeah, getting him at this point is actually kind of a boon. Of course, if I do happen to reveal him at this location, that's fine too. All right, investigation phase. I'm going to go ahead and start with Ursula. We'll put this here. On a Pathfind move over and use my ability to investigate. We'll go 4 to 1. But before I do that, I'll do the force test. 4 to 1. Good to go. Then 4 to 1. Good to go. I will go ahead and reveal this. It's a decoy. But I can also... I'm just going to go ahead and put this back. It technically stays there until... Well, actually, it technically doesn't go there. It just stays in your threat area, but it's just easier to keep track of. All right, so that was our Pathfind move. I'm going to go ahead and move again. Over to here. Hey, it's the mine. Condemned Gold Mine. Action. 6 Shrouds, 0 Clues. Action. Reveal 1 random Chaos token from the Chaos bag, plus 1 additional token for each depletion token on Condemned Gold Mine. If you did not reveal any symbol tokens in this way, gain 4 resources and place a resource from the token pool on the Condemned Gold Mine as a depletion token. Good times. All right. I'm going to go ahead and advance. I will spend 6 clues, which I have 7 here. And advance. Negotiations. If it is Agenda 1, ignoring signs warning that the mine is condemned and dangerous, you trace a path to the branch Laundry wrote about in his journal and find the sable glass buried in the rock. When you emerge, however, you are not alone. In either case, read Scenario Interlude, Raw Deal in the campaign guide. Raw Deal. If it is Agenda 1A, or sorry, I keep saying 1A. If it's Agenda 1, proceed to Raw Deal 1. What a reunion, Thorn exclaims. It would appear you've bested me fair and square in this little tete-a-tete. Sorry. I'm rather impressed. In my experience, such competence is beyond the foundation. Now, I believe we have a bit of business to discuss. Please have a seat. Thorn says, snapping their fingers. Several coterie members bring you to a covered awning with a fire and some chairs. Once seated, Thorn clears their throat. Now then, we both know you have something I want, something worth untold fortunes, though I highly doubt you are interested in money. But what if I told you about a greater threat? Their tone is joking, but their expression is grave. You ask them to explain. Surely you realize it. I'm not the threat here. There is something terrible that stalks these woods, the ultimate predator. As soon as you laid hands on the sable glass, your lives were forfeit. It will hunt you down and consume every part of you until there is nothing left, as it has done to many others. You nod along, considering Thorn's words. Luckily for you, this creature is an old friend of mine. I am uniquely suited to track its movements and lure it out. Thorn leans forward intently. For my services, all I ask is the sable glass. Believe me, you want someone that knows how to properly operate the thing. Anyway. Thorn offers their gloved hand to shake once again. So tell me, do we have a deal? Yeah, we'll go ahead and work with them. I'm already sticking with being trustworthy, trusting and trustworthy. So, Raw Deal 3. Brilliant. We shall have to pop some champagne when this is all over and done. Thorn snaps their fingers, calling their cohorts to attention. I believe we have some work to do. Record that the cell made a deal with Thorn. All right, and then we get to remove a elder thing and add a tablet token. So now we get our 4th tablet token. So any further tablet tokens will give us experience now. Put Thorn story asset into play under the lead investigator's control and attach the sable glass key to Thorn, stable sides face up. Okay, asset for Thorn and the sable glass. Consummate professional. Allied conspirator. As a reaction, after an investigator at your location sets a card aside as a hollow, exhaust Thorn. That investigator may take an immediate action as if it were their turn. Just admit it. I'm better at this than you. Has 2/2 soak. And then the sable glass, translocated lens. Shift. Look at the revealed side of each concealed minicard at your location without exposing them. Then flip it to its unstable side. The unstable side. Each investigator sets. You could shift it to. Each investigator sets the non-weakness card in their hand with the highest printed cost aside out of play as a hollow. Then if an investigator shifts this key, flip it to its stable side. Actually, this is another mistake I made. I forgot. I thought you'd choose what card it was, but no, it's actually the highest cost, which is actually kind of dangerous. The quote, file 33K31, subject class, green. Subject is a warped lens of indeterminate translucent material. Layer appears as a window to other layers when viewed through lens. Beware of prolonged exposure to paradigmal viewpoint. Other side can see you too. So yeah, pretty neat. Now the neat thing though is with a combination of Thorn, you can actually get extra actions off of this thing, which is kind of neat. But yeah, the effect is nice though. It can be helpful for finding things. And then more things. Search the encounter deck, discard pile in all player areas for all cards from the Crimson Conspiracy Kit encounter set, and remove them from the game. So that is Coterie Agent. So Coterie Agent is going to get removed, which is also going to in turn remove all the mini cards because there's nothing in the shadows anymore. So all the agents are from the Crimson whatever, And then there are also 2 conspiracies in red. And that is everything. Okay. That is all taken care of. Yep, everything's good. All right, and then over here, if it bleeds, Thorn said they were trying to track the predator in these woods. Although the beast leaves no trace, you can surely scout the surrounding area before luring it out. As an action, if your location has the wilderness trait, and investigators at your location spend 2 clues as a group, spend 1 resource on your location. Place 1 resource on your location as a scouting report. Limit 1 scouting report per wilderness location. Objective, you may advance at the end of any round. Hint, you will lure out the predator when you advance. Advance when you believe you are prepared. So the Hunter's Lodge, the stream, the outpost, the road, and the lake are all wilderness locations. So there are 5 wilderness locations that we can put scouting reports on. On my personal playthrough, I did 4 locations, and then on the scrapped run, I did 3, because technically I could kind of make it up with the class. All right, so besides that, we get to keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and move back with Ursula. I'll go 4 to 1 here again. Good to go. Then as an action, actually I don't have any clues. In that case, change of plans. We're going to go ahead and move up to the Fairbanks location. Actually, no, we won't do that yet. We'll stay here. I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 to get out the Grim Inmar and be good to go there. All right. Meanwhile, over here with Jacqueline, let's go ahead and blast this guy. Let's go ahead and search top 3 first. I'll take the shriveling. Yes, that'll work. That's a thing that'll work. All right. Okay, that's perfect then. So I'm going to go ahead and use my ability and attack with Breathless Sleeper. I'll use all 3 charges and my ability. So I'm going to be revealing 6 tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. So we have 2 -1s. We'll take those, and that'll do 3 damage to kill this thing. Okay, and then next I'm going to go ahead and do Uncage the Soul and use that to play a Shriveling. And then last action, I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 clues to put a resource on this location. Okay. Good stuff. Enemy phase upkeep. Give me 1 second. As always, I keep checking to make sure I actually shuffled. Anyway, keep doing this. Okay, another Pathfinder, always good. Mythos. We're 6 of 7, so we're going to advance next round. Also, as I'm not going to advance this round. All right. Another one of these assholes. All right. What was it top card? It's my Voice of Ra. All right. I'm going to go ahead and use Thorn. And to get an immediate action, I'll go ahead and use Shriveling and go 5 to 3. I'll go ahead and use my ability with it. 1, 2, 3. Okay. That is -1, so that's enough to kill. Now kill that guy. Over here. Apocalyptic Presage. Alright. Monster Outsider. 4 fight, 5 health, 2 evade. When Apocalyptic Presage enters play, each investigator chooses a non-weakness card they control in their hand or play area and sets it aside out of play as a hollow. As a reaction, when it's defeated, instead of putting in victory, you can discard it and choose up to 3 set-aside hollows and add them back to the people's hands. Hits for 1 damage, 2 horror, has victory 1. Okay, dokie. So I have to pick a card. I will pick this Promise of Power. And then over here, I will pick a plan of action. All right. Investigation phase. All right. Actually, no. Not the Promise of Power. I'm going to pick the Sword Cane. As much as I want to keep the Sword Cane, this is more important. Okay. I'm going to start with Jacqueline. I need to look this up. Let me check. Okay, I think I can't do pressure on the same event that I'm playing because it's technically in limbo. So we'll go ahead and go off that. Anyway, so Presage is not a elite monster, so that's partially why I went ahead and kept the Promise of Power, the Promise of Power, because it's going to be a 5 difficulty test, unfortunately. So first action, we're going to go ahead and move. Second action, we're going to go ahead and search top 3. I will grab a... we'll grab a Shriveling. I think that's our level 3 Shriveling, in fact. Sorry, cat's on the desk. Okay, so next we'll go ahead and do a... We will spend 3 to do a Whispers of Doom. It's a parlay. Difficulty 3 plus the horror of the monster, so 2, so it'll be 5. So we're 5 to 5 right now. I'll commit a Promise of Power to add a curse token. Oh, I can't do that right now. It's too risky. I could YOLO. I could YOLO it. This will be 9 to 5. But I don't have my ability right now, which is the bad news. Alright, hold your breaths, everybody. We passed. Okay, instant death. And yes, I'm putting in the victory display. Okay, could have gone a lot worse. Oh, I did forget to do the forced effect. I'll go ahead and do that now. I do pass going 3 to 1 there. Okay, and then last action, I'm going to spend 2 clues to put a resource on this location. Or, yeah, I'm okay with that. I can work with that. Okay, and then let's go with Ursula next. I'll go ahead and set the location to over there. I'm going to go ahead and spend the 3 to get out the other Pathfinder. There's no limit for this thing. I'll go ahead and use both Pathfinders to move twice to here. I'll go ahead and use my ability and do Grim Memoir. We'll go 6 to 3. We pass. We don't get the card draw, but we do get the clue. Then I'll go ahead and spend the 2 clues to put a resource on this location. This is resolved. And then I'm going to move back to my last action to Fairbanks. Okay. So that leaves 2 locations that I don't have the thing for, but that's kind of okay. All right. No enemies. Go to upkeep. Upkeep. There's our stupor, which is perfect because we do have a medical student to deal with that. All right. I will go ahead and advance at this point. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. All right. The true face of terror. After making what preparations you can, you wait around a campfire. Your very presence in this territory makes you a prime lure for whatever awful predator stalks these woods. Soon enough, you hear a twig snap and see a multitude of glowing eyes watching you from the trees. Spawn Void Chimera, true form in the shadows, and resolve its concealed keyword. Distributing each of those concealed mini-cards as evenly as possible among each wilderness location and play. For each location with a scouting report, you may look at the revealed side of the concealed mini-card just placed at that location. Okay, so there are multiple types of Void Chimeras, but we'll deal with that in a second. Void Chimera, true form, monstrous, outsider elite, 4 fight, 4 evade, 8 health, concealed 4 massive. You cannot expose any concealed mini-cards while one of the Void Chimera's other forms is in play. After you expose one of the Void Chimera's decoys, find the set aside version of Void Chimera with the matching subtitle and spawn it at your location. Victory 1 hits for 1 and 1. Yeah, the other forms could be... I did end up spawning one of the other forms, which was really annoying. Yeah, we got that to deal with. So if we go search through the deck here, we have the true form, and then there's these special decoys that actually have labels on them for the different types of other forms. So this is in reference to the diary, where the guy thought he killed a wolf-type chimera, and only found, and then despite taking out that one, the real one still was wrecking shit. All right, so we put them in each of the wilderness locations. And then the ones that have a scouting report, we flip. That one is the Fellhound. This one is the Gore Feaster. That one's the Fell Break. So one of these two is the real one. All right, then we'll go ahead and read this. Prowling Nightmare. The shifting chimeric form of the paradimensional beast flits in and out of view. It is playing games with you, much like a cat plays with a mouse. If you can expose its true form, perhaps you can turn the game on its head and banish it once and for all. After Void Chimera true form is exposed, advance the act. All right, now we go ahead and advance this. Frozen Thoughts. The fragile landscape fills you with a kind of numbness. At first, you dismiss the feeling as purely physical, a side effect of the cold. It is only when you stop and consider the feeling itself that it dawns on you. The numbness is a result of some strange influence. You are forgetting small moments, memories of the surrounding area. It is as though your mind itself is being hunted and fed upon. Each investigator chooses an ally or item asset in their hand or play area and sets it aside out of play as a hollow. So I'll go ahead and do that. I do have an item, so I will go ahead and use that. I am going to go ahead and use Thorn for this and use that action to move to the Forgotten Outpost. And then for you, I'll get rid of this Grim Memoir. All right. And then bad cards. Warped Reality. Crypt Chill. I don't have enough to deal with that, so it's just going to be a 3 to 4 test. Yeah, I'll just do 3 to 4. If I fail, I fail. Actually, I'll do an Unexpected Courage. That'll bring me up to 5 to 4. And 6 to 4 with Eureka. Me pass. Search top 3. I'll take the Segment of Onyx. All right, and investigation phase. Okie dokie. I'm going to start with Jacqueline. Do I want to start with Jacqueline? Yeah, that's fine. I'll go ahead and use the Sable Glass and take a look at this card. It is a decoy, so the real one is up here. I'll go ahead and move up. I'm then going to go ahead and search top 3. At this point, I'm actually okay with just taking a Deny Existence. All right. All right, so this place is 3 Shroud, so I'll need to do a 5 to 3. I've been doing nice investigates for most of these, but you can actually do fights and evades as well. So I'll do Breath of the Sleeper. And use my ability, and I'll commit a Prescient. This will be 6 to 3, and I'll pick Symbol. Cool, I'll pick Tablet. So not only do I pass, but I can also grab a spell card from the discard. I will grab this Whispers of Doom. I will reveal this card. It is the Void Chimera. Alright. After it's been exposed, advance the act. Outsider's Lair. It's another world location, 4 Shroud, 4 clues. Revelation, put Outsider's Lair into play and move Void Chimera true form in each investigator's location to Outsider's. So you put Outsider's Lair into play, then move Void Chimera and each investigator at its location to Outsider's Lair. While Outsider's Lair has no clues on it, Void Chimera gets -1 fight, -1 evade, victory 1. So I get moved over to here. Last stand, your prey has trapped you in its own lair. The alien beast unveils itself in all its otherworldly grandeur, looming over you in myriad amorphous forms. The location where the Void Chimera true form was exposed is connected to the outsider lair, but not vice versa. So it's one way. So we will put this here. Is there a different version? There we go. All right. And then we just have to defeat him to advance the act. All right, I have 1 action remaining. This guy only hits for 1 and 1, so I'm okay with soaking for a bit. I'll go ahead and blast this guy with a Shriveling. We'll go 5 to... Actually, no. Take that back. We'll spend 3 and do Whispers of Doom. This will put us at 5 to 4. Not much else I can do about it. I'll commit a Ward of Protection. Go 6 to 4 here. Unfortunately, the tablet's going to make me fail though. But I passed just barely. This thing is elite, so it's just going to take 3 damage instead. It also doesn't provoke because this is a parlay. Okay. Good stuff. Oh, also these go away. Because there's nothing in the shadows. Okay. All right. Then we go to Ursula. I'll put the Call of the Unknown here. I'm just wondering if there's anything else I can do. Yeah, I'll go ahead and gain a resource. I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 resources to get out Medical Student. I'll cure the Stupor and heal the damage. And then I'm going to Pathfind twice. Over to here. I'll go ahead and use my ability, which is going to provoke an attack. I'll use it to kill the medical student. And investigate with Grim Memoir. We'll go 6 to 4 and go 7 to 4 with deduction. We pass, we draw a card. This is now resolved. And I get 2 clues. Alright, last action, I'm going to go ahead and evade and commit an unexpected courage. This will put us at 6 to 4. We pass, he is now evaded. Okay. Not too bad. Alright. Just looking at my options here. Alright, enemies, no enemies to worry about. Upkeep. Give me a moment. Okay. That was upkeep. Well, now we go to Mythos. We're at 1 doom out of 6. This guy's active again. Get you again. Top card, not a weakness. I'll go ahead and use Thorn at this point. I'll attempt to shriveling the... Actually, I won't do that. I'll target the... Void Chimera. We'll go 5 to 4. And I'll commit a Deny Existence, goes 6 to 4. I'll use my ability with it. Okay, I'll take the -1. I'll pass and do 2 damage. So that's 3 health left. Okay. And then your card, Emissary of Yugoth. So this is going to go into the shadows. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to kill this guy. Unless his decoy is literally on this location. Because we can't leave this location. But after you discover a clue at a location with 1 or more concealed mini cards, if Emissary of Yugoth is in the shadows, it attacks you. 3 fight, 3 evade, 4 health, victory 1. Okay, dokie. All right, we'll go ahead and go to this. Unfortunately, the Call of the Unknown is just going to hit me for 2 horror, and there's nothing I can do about it. But we'll deal with that once we actually start her turn. First things first, Arcane Initiate, search top 3. Take that card, shuffle. I will go ahead and try to blast this entity now. I'll go ahead and commit a Prescient and pick Symbol, so it'll be 6 to 3. Okay, didn't get the symbol, but it did kill it, and that's important. I'm going to go ahead and then try to evade this thing. I'll go ahead and use the Eye of the Ravens to go 6 to 4. We pass, he's evaded. Then I'm going to go ahead and spin 3 to get out the better shriveling. And then that'll be her turn. Alright, then it goes to Ursula. We'll put that here. Actually, what I'll do as a fast is I'm going to put Spectral Shield on Ursula. Because it'll still soak 1, even if you have no charges. In any case, Ursula, you have things you need to do. Important things, in fact. I'm going to investigate this location using Grim Memoir. This will put us at 6 to 4. We passed, somehow. Got rid of that curse, too. That was -2 plus 1, so that puts us at -1, so we were 5 to 4, so we get a clue, but that's it. Actually, I'm not going to get a clue. I'm going to get this revealed. It's a decoy. Okay, so we can't get this guy. There's no way, because we can't leave this location. Good news is we can go ahead and investigate again. We'll go 6 to 4 again. We passed just barely and get a clue. And then for my last action, I'm going to gain a resource and then spin 2 to do Working a Hunch to grab the last clue. So we got the victory from this at least. Also, now that this has been taken care of, it now has only 3/3 because it has -1 fight, -1 evade. This is going to get resolved. It's going to get shuffled back into my deck. I'll take 2 horror. This will soak 1 of it, so I'll take 1 horror. This gets discarded. This gets shuffled back in. And we're good to go. Enemy phase. Enemy ain't going to do anything. Upkeep goes to there. And Mythos, we're second due. Beyond the Pale. Tashiok location, test willpower 3. Okay, 5-3. We pass, and that is it. So yeah, attach Beyond the Pale to your location and test willpower 3. If you fail, take 1 horror for each hex treachery attached to your location. After this test ends, if there are 3 copies in play, you discard them all. So these kind of just get spread all around the place. All right, and then over here, substance dissimulation. All right, so if I have any copies in my hand or play area of something that is hollowed, I have to discard it and take a damage in horror. So Grim Memoir gets discarded, and I take a damage in horror. But since I did discard it, I don't have to worry about the other stuff. Okay. All right, investigation phase. Hopefully I didn't make too many mistakes. I apologize if I did, but at this point, we're just going to go. So, I'm going to go ahead and do Arcane Initiate, search top 3. We'll take the Breathless Sleeper here. Okay, so this thing has 3 fight now, and I have my level 3 Shriveling, so I'm going to go ahead and use a charge from that, and use my ability. Okay, I'll cancel the skull and -1, so that puts us at 6 to whatever, and do 2 damage. So it has 1 health left. I'll blast again. 7 to 3 here. I'm going to go ahead and commit a Wit and Green to make it 8 to 3. So if I do get the tablet, which is -5 here, I'll be good to go. And I did. I'll take a horror because of that, which I will put here. But yeah, that is -5. I was 7 thanks to the +2 from Shriveling. And then I got +1 from this, so it was 3 to 3 thanks to the clues not being on this thing. So I do succeed, and this guy has now officially been murdered. Not bad at all. So we got pretty lucky on this one. We got at least one of the victory enemies. On my scrap playthrough, I had both this guy, and I accidentally got the wrong decoy while I was trying to find the Yugoth guy, because if you just have this guy by himself with his decoys, as long as you have at least a few scouting reports, it's pretty easy to find the rail one. But what ended up happening is I spawned this guy before I can reveal him, and then his decoys, his mini cards got mixed up with all the other ones, and I really wanted to find this guy, so it ended up being pretty messy. But like I said, the reason I had to restart though was because I failed to track Call the Unknown, which would have changed like a bunch of my card draws, and potentially did a lot more horror to me. The other thing that also hindered me on the scrap playthrough was the reason I was having trouble against the decoy that I was fighting, and the emissary, and a bunch of other things, was because I drew Jacqueline Fine's weakness, and it wouldn't go away. I used the ability every round to draw 7 tokens, and I didn't draw any Elder Signs. Meanwhile, Ursula would draw like back-to-back Elder Signs. It's crazy. But in any case, let's go ahead and advance. The Killing Blow. As you land a final blow, the shifting violent thing collapses into itself with a noisome cacophony and a sudden suction of air. As its form crumbles, the strange other world around you also begins to disintegrate, and you find yourself drawn back to reality in a rush of static and ozone. Thorn is a story asset, and he's in play. Resolution 1. All right. So, Resolution 1. A scent of ozone hisses out of the closing tear in reality as your surroundings come back into view. You are back in Alaska where the chimeric entity pulled you into its lair. As you stand up, Thorn pulls out a handkerchief to wipe slick, extra-dimensional blood off of their sleeve. They cock an eyebrow at you. Perhaps I was wrong about you Foundation types. If nothing else, you know how to hold your own in a fight. Though I would recommend you reconsider your stance on my fellow coterie brethren and myself. I do not believe I am the only member of the coterie who is willing to put aside petty differences in the face of such. They pause, and in that moment you sense Thorn's age and gravity. Such a monumental crisis. With that, Thorn smiles and swiftly turns on their heel. Pleasure doing business with you, and rest assured I will not forget our agreement. They put the sable glass in their breast pocket and stride away into the wilderness. Each investigator gets Victory X. And Thorn is now the bearer of the Sable Glass. Update the campaign accordingly, and then we get 3 time. So, Sable Glass, Thorn has it. So, yeah. Unless we run into Thorn again, we're never going to see the Sable Glass again. Alright. And then we need to resolve 1, 2, 3. So Alpha, is it page 57? Nope. There it is. Status reports. When you fill in the box under time pass with one of the following symbols in the form of Greek letters, proceed to the status report matching the letter and read the text that follows. Status report Alpha. As your travels continue, the Foundation receives more and more reports of strange disappearances. With each new dossier you read, you worry that it is only a matter of time before there is nothing left. Add a cultist to the bag. So we get our first cultist. Okay. Experience. Thanks to finding that presage, we have 5 experience in total. So like I mentioned, we're talking Dunwich levels of experience here. There were only 3 victory locations. So yeah, total of 5 XP. So Ursula, let's see. Jacqueline gets 5. And then +1 for the great work. Ursula gets 5, and then +2 because of Karen's obol. So 6 and 7 is definitely not bad at all. Alright. Does make me wish I had banked XP, but that's okay, earlier. But that is fine. We can make it work. Yeah, actually we can. I can just grab some things out of order, and that should work. Okay. So let's go ahead and spend our XP. We're also like a space away from the next symbol that we're going to be running into, so we'll deal with that in a second. Okay, 6 XP for Jacqueline. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade both sword canes to level 2 for 1 each, both down the rabbit hole. So one thing to note, it becomes fast, which is something I tend to forget often, so it doesn't take an action to play anymore. The reaction ability where it does a damage, unfortunately the requirement for that is it has to be engaged with you, so I can't use that damage to reveal any of the concealed cards, unfortunately. That being said, it's still very useful. The extra +1 skill value is welcomed and will help out with fighting and evading. So 1 each for that, and then with the arcane researches, I'll upgrade the other shriveling to level 3 for 1 XP, so that's 3. And then I'll spend 3 XP to upgrade one of the Uncaged Souls to level 3, just so I have a way to refresh my spells if I need to. Alright, so that puts us in pretty good shape as far as upgrading our down the rabbit hole stuff. That's 6 XP exactly. Alright, for Ursula, I'm spending 3 XP to get Relic Hunter for that additional accessory slot, and I'm going to go ahead and replace Tooth of Etsley with the Red Clock level 2, which will cost 4. So now we have additional sources of actions, movements, skill, and resources. And that should put us in pretty good shape on that front. Alright. So that's all taken care of. That's exactly 7 XP, putting her back down to 0. Okay, so we are up here now. We found another key, but we didn't get it, so we're not doing well for our mission, but that's fine. So San Francisco is another one of those Foundation hideout places. So we'll probably go there next. So we'll go down to San Francisco, which is going to add another time, bringing us up to this epsilon symbol. Alright, as you traverse the streets, you flinch at every shifting shadow and every... is that right? Yeah, it is right. I don't know why these are out of order. Status report Epsilon. As you traverse the streets, you flinch at every shifting shadow and every passerby wearing red. You're definitely being followed, and you have no lack of enemies who might fit the bill. For the remainder of the campaign, whenever you are setting up a scenario, perform the following. Gather each of the enemies in the red coterie encounter set whose name matches those who you haven't seen the last of in your campaign log. Choose one at random and shuffle it into the encounter deck for this scenario. The red coterie encounter set is indicated by that symbol. The following encounter set icon. Ignore this additional setup instruction during the finale. So over here we have the red coterie. And right now the only thing we haven't seen the last of is the red gloved man. So in the future we get to deal with him. He'll be added to the encounter deck. With my luck, I will always draw any red coterie members that are added to the encounter deck. I will definitely draw them. So San Francisco, this is 26G again. We are now in San Francisco, so we do quid pro quo 1. A set of obscure and overly complex instructions leads you to a drab two-story stone building on the edge of San Francisco's Chinatown neighborhood. Inside a board attendant slumps behind a desk near a brass elevator. Punching a specific code, the elevator takes you deep underground, farther than you could have predicted. On minus 14th floor, you step out and are greeted by an imposing man in a well-tailored suit and black fedora. Archibald Hudson, we met in London. He reminds you. Your cell is quite the talk around the office. The agent leads you down a seemingly endless hallway lined with alcoves. Each alcove displays something different, a model of a hollow earth, a crystal skull, a map with ley lines, and other unknown markings. You pause and look at a half-eaten ear of corn still steaming. From what I hear, that corn's been cooking to perfection for the last 2 decades, so's the dame who was eating it. Agent Hudson says grimly, looking at the paradimensional relics gives you a headache. Your eyes struggle to focus on them. They are both there, not there at the same time. Hudson ushers you down a side hall into a boxy room crammed with metal filing cabinets and sits down behind a heavy wooden desk. He speaks into a ring and spring microphone. File 26G2, interview conducted by Hudson Archibald, designation 42 Alpha 6951. That's Agent Hudson to you. He arches an eyebrow. Over the next several hours, you answer a gauntlet of grueling questions about your experience thus far, ranging from the past day to your experience in London. When it's all done, Agent Hudson leans back and lights a cigarette. I'll admit, I was skeptical about you from the start, but Commissioner Taylor has good instincts, and I haven't been seen them steer her wrong yet, he says. You've done good work so far. We have some intel and some resources that might be useful for you. Tell me what the Foundation can do for you. So same first 2 options. You can either get a ticket or get experience, or we can learn more about 11B. So we'll go ahead and go quid pro quo 3. Agent Hudson flips through some files and pulls out an updated dossier similar to the one in your possession, but much thicker. Subject 11B calls herself Amaranth, but this is not the first Amaranth the Foundation has encountered. She pops back up every few decades, looking completely different each time. This iteration bears a striking resemblance to a former student of a Miskatonic University in Massachusetts. Erin Kochwin was her name. She's been missing for some time. You wonder aloud if it might be a coincidence. There are no coincidences in our line of work, he mutters. In your campaign log, record the cell knows Amaranth's real name. Okay. So we should be good to go on that front. All right. So we can now note that this has byn visited. All right, so on my first playthrough, I went to Ybor City first, but I now know that there's no point going there until you've gone to Havana. So we'll be going to Havana next. We'll add a time to this, so we're at 11. And with that, we'll be doing Dancing Mad next time. All right. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of reading, especially if you're going to a lot of, side locations and things like that. But honestly, I don't mind it. I guess I feel like in Edge of the Earth, it feels like it's a lot more front-loaded. Like, I'm at least making some decisions between a lot of these. Also, in Edge of the Earth, a lot of the front-loaded dialogue is just introducing all, 9 characters and, I don't know what they ate last night. But this, I don't know, I guess it could also be the theme. I thought I would like Edge of the Earth, because the Antarctica thing is also pretty cool. But this one has gives me an SCP vibe, which is pretty cool. I generally like the SCP stuff until it got kind of stupid with the stuff that people made up. But yeah, that's what I kind of get from the Scarlet Keys type stuff, which is kind of neat. In any case, yeah, we'll be diving into Havana, Dancing Mad, and we at least now have the information about Desi, so hopefully that'll help us out. All right, I am the Depressed Eeyore. This was Arkham Horror the card game, doing the Scarlet Keys with Jacqueline Fine and Ursula Downs. We finished On Thin Ice. We'll be doing Dancing Mad next. See ya.